I picked up Cibele as part of the Humble Narrative bundle because I like games with stories to them, and the premise of it seemed really interesting. Like, it's about a girl who meets a guy via an online game and things take a turn for worse. The trailer makes the game seem darker than it actually is. It makes it look like it will descend to this really disturbing story about online relationships, but the game doesn't really do that at all. In fact, I'm not really sure what it does. So Cibele was interesting in that, as a game, it was a mixture of poking around Nina's computer and watching little FMV sequences. So you're given the chance to click around her desktop, read messages, emails, look through her picture folders. It sounds really weird, like quite creepy, and it does feel really strange to read the innermost thoughts of this 19-year-old girl, Nina, and even to go through some of her high school blog entries. Parts of it just made me cringe, because some of the things she writes about are the kind of things that I remember from my experience as a teenager, and I never want to live through those things ever again. And sometimes you just get to look through pictures, and it just made me feel really weird and stalkerish. The other part of the gameplay is that you get to play this online game that Nina is so obsessed with, except it's not really about playing the game. It's about just clicking really pointlessly while you listen to the chat between Nina and her online beau, Blake. The game that they play is very simple and incredibly boring and frustrating. It makes you wonder why the hell were they even really obsessed with this stupid clicker, but it's not really about that. The game is simply acting as a vehicle to carry the chat between Nina and Blake, which would be fine if the game wasn't so tedious, and if the chats were interesting. For something that's supposed to be giving me insight into how a relationship develops, they're quite shallow. Every now and then, or you'll also get other messages pop up, and you can read through those too. They're also quite dull, and they try to build a picture of Nina's life, but they're not very successful in doing so. It's a real shame, because the game tries to make you connect with Nina and understand where she's coming from and what type of person she is. It tries to get you to understand the other relationships she has. It tries to get you to understand who Blake is as a person and why Nina would fall for him. And it tries to get you to understand why Blake would behave the way that he does. But in the end, the execution of everything is so cursory and so shallow that everything just feels like paper cutouts or outlines of tropes. I'm just clicking through things and watching this story unfold, but without being emotionally invested enough to care about anything that happens. And all that really happens is that they decide to meet and things don't go as planned. I'm not 100% sure why they decided they were in love with each other. And it did make me feel really old and uncomfortable, and I kept thinking, but why the fuck would you send this guy semi-nudes of yourself, and do you even really know this person? And I know that this kind of thing happens in real life, and I can understand why this kind of thing happens in real life, but in the context of the game, I wasn't really given any kind of indication or any kind of real character development that made it believable. And then when Blake suddenly starts saying that he's not the kind of person who can have relationships in real life, he still loves her, but he wants all those things, but he just doesn't know, and oh my god, it just made me roll my eyes so hard that I could see the back of my head. There is nothing wrong with the drama bomb, it's just that I don't know Blake or Nina well enough or deeply enough to even give a shit about the drama that apparently ensues. And I'm also still not sure about the message that I'm supposed to take away from this, or if there even was a point to all of this. So don't meet online people offline? There are strange people playing online video games? Boys don't know anything about love? Don't play so many video games? Don't fall in love so easily? Don't spend all your days shut up in your room playing games and talking to this one person? Like, get out and see other people? Like, I don't know. It's a real shame, because I think that Cibele could have been quite a mature game with something really thoughtful to say about the nature of relationships, especially online ones, and the transition of those to offline ones, or maybe even something about self-awareness and coming of age. But it tries to do too much, and also does all of the things far too shallowly to really end up doing anything at all. Either make something that's a little bit longer and more in depth that helps me understand these characters and their motivations a little more so that I care when everything starts to go wrong. Or just turn it into a creepy thriller of some description. Like the trailer would have you believe, I don't know. And then this shows up at the end, and I just want to throw everything at the screen. I'm done.